one of the biggest ways that I know that Brooke is worth the long run is based on one of our conversation from tonight. Actually, last night I made the video about how obviously I'm a little nervous with this whole engagement thing and marriage and everything like that. That being said, like, I'm putting in the work to try and learn and understand the how like important that it is, and basically rewiring my brain. That's probably the best way I could say it, is I'm rewiring my brain to see the beauty in marriage and not as the terrible institutional thing that I used to see it as, right? Because when you grow up in a family where marriage isn't respected, it's really a thing that hurts people more than it does help. You kind of shift your opinion, how your perspective on how you perceive it, right? And so I've been trying to do that. I've been fasting about it, right? And so when I was talking to her about that last night, it was obviously hard for her to hear this, right? That I wanted to push back, and just until like I know that I'm making the decision for myself and I'm not allowing these outside pressures to influence my decision making, right? And it was beautiful tonight. Well, it was so she's awesome. This morning, well, we both just did our personal study, on everything that we're looking for, and we're trying to both find solace and in each other's perspective, right? And come to understanding and have compassion with each other and where we're coming from, because it's a deep emotional thing that both of us are, facing. And so this morning, during personal study, I was learning a lot about it, right? And I sent her a couple texts throughout the day, reminding her that I love her, that I'm thinking of her. And about 2 o'clock, 1:48, she comes by where I'm working. I was working at the Pereira's house with Blake, and she brings me a little can of poppy, and a little box of Twix, and just said that she wanted to drop by, and I was like, that's so awesome. Get a message a couple hours later, 2 or 3 hours later, asking if we want to go skiing on the 21st of January, so in a couple weeks, which basically is her planning a double date. And I was like, well, okay, that's also really interesting. And then as I get back from the gym and I'm showering, I get a message from her saying, I have a bunch of leftover ground turkey, some potatoes, and some spinach. Do you want to come eat with me? Because why not? And I was just like, you're amazing. Like, thank you. I appreciate it. So we went to have dinner and everything, and you could tell that it was still sitting on her heart a little bit. But we had dinner. It was super fun, totally chill. And she was like, yeah, like, I want to watch Severance. And we eat dinner. We go into her room, and we sit on the bed. And I was like, okay, let's talk. And man, I'm such a woman, I swear. It's so funny. We were laughing about that too, because it's so weird. Like, when I kissed her before we had to talk, my goodness, like, it sounds bad, but like, I wasn't necessarily as physically attracted to her in that sense. I don't know if you guys know what I'm picking up on, if you're picking up on. But let's just say she has a way of every time I would kiss her. And it wasn't like as strong or affecting me then. But it's so interesting. After our conversation, I'm not gonna say anything else, but it's very obvious to me how important emotions are when it comes to my physical attraction as well to her, but also just in general. Like, I feel way more desirous to have her when we are emotionally connected and bonding and growing together, which is beautiful. And I hadn't noticed that until tonight, actually. The other thing that I was just so, she's just amazing. We were talking, and she was telling me how she was like, I just think that the way I reacted, there was a little bit of ego in there, and I apologize. I recognize that. I know that this is something that you're working through, and I realized that my reaction was, in a sense, childish. These are her words, not mine. She was like, in a sense, they were childish, and I should be way more considerate of you and your feelings, because it wasn't taking into account how you were feeling about all this. And she was like, well, because marriage is so important, right? Like, it should be a decision that both of us make and not just one person. She was like, I don't want you to feel like you are being pressured into something. Like, I want us to both make this decision for us. And I just sat there, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, it was just even more of a I know I'm gonna marry her. I do. And I just had this like deep sense of gratitude for her amazing, that this attribute. And I was telling this to her right after too. I was like, I just hope you understand how amazing you are. Like, I do pride myself in how quick I try and learn things. Like, I try and keep an open mind. I try and ask questions to learn and be more compassionate, understand people on a deeper level. I do try. But man, she is next level. She is literally next level. And I was telling her, I was like, I feel so behind you in a lot of different ways. And one of the biggest ways is how amazing and you are at learning and coming from a point of like Christ-like love and this deep desire to seek understanding and work with that person. Because for me, a lot of times I'm like, yeah, they're saying stuff, like they could, you know, they could just do whatever, and I wouldn't, it wouldn't bother me. So there's a lot of apathy towards other people's emotions. She is just a great example of like, I want to understand you. I want to work on this with you. And sure, I might have an emotional reaction right now, but like, I want you to know I'm here with you. And she was like, yeah, that's because of 3 years of therapy. And I told her, I was like, sure, maybe like therapy was a helpful catalyst to like bring it more to surface for you, but I don't think that, like, I know people that have been in therapy for 10 plus years and aren't nearly as close to the same level as her when it comes to this skill, this character trait, this gift that she has, to learn and seek to understand. And I think that is just like the epitome of Christ. Like, it really is. Like, when Christ like seeks to understand the individual, the one, my gosh, dude, she is just so good at it. So I was telling her that, and I just couldn't help but feel extremely grateful for her. And then I told her about how I made the video last night, and then we both realized, I'm like, I keep only making videos about negative stuff and like the trials. And because originally the thought was like, I want to just show the realness of like, what life is at this age, this decade of decisions, right? Just like, there's so much that is like, so many decisions that have to be made, so many trials that you have to go through, so much growth that takes place, right? And I was like, yeah, like originally it was just because I wanted to show the real side of things. She was like, did you talk about like first time I said I love you? Did you talk about the first time when we made it official of dating? And I'm just thinking, like, no. And I should have. And so I apologize. I'm going to get better at that, because those are also really beautiful moments that I also want, you kids to know about, and see and understand, right? And just kind of see how life unfolds. And yeah, it's just yeah. So anyways, I'm growing. I'm trying to get better. That's one of the places I'll be working on to get better, to also share some of the beautiful things that happen. um but yeah, it's obviously, and that's what I said last night too, it's life's up, and there's a bunch of ups, there's ups and downs, but overall it's beautiful. And I'm glad that I found somebody that I feel very, very confident in doing this life thing with. Because I'm not perfect. There's so many flaws and shortcomings that I have, and she helps me in ways that I can't. I'm very weak at, and vice versa. And so, and that's just the beauty in it. Anyways, I thought I'd share that little awesome little moment tonight with her, about your mother. Um, yeah. Anyways, so I'll catch you on whatever happens next.